sweet.
It's
Let's
a
get
giant
things started
crucifix
then.
with a golden Jesus, and we call it Bomb Jesus because he's made out of an old bombshell, and that's just
Oh,
in the cemetery on campus where all the dead
oh,
monks are.
Bomb
we
Jesus?
had a cemetery too.
Yeah, I can talk more about Bomb Jesus once
I
we
mean,
actually start. If you
people
want.
die everywhere, Melissa.
No, like we had a cemetery on our campus, and everybody else thought that was really weird because it was like right next to the stadium. It is in a major area. I walk past that cemetery every day to get to the cafeteria.
I think it's weird to have a cemetery on a college campus. I had
We
one
had
on my
one
college
next to the
campus.
campus, but it was not like
The college.
school really. Yeah, like it was just like it just happened to be down the road.
Yeah, this was the cemetery for the school's founders and their family. 'Cause I went to a very old school.
There you go.
Everybody's recording, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Double checking.
We are all.
I'm mostly checking for myself.
Oh, I've done that recently. Like, thank God that I do multiple recordings all at once. Because there's times where I'm just like, oh, I didn't hit record on that one thing. Oh well. Good thing I still have the other one. But yeah, let's go ahead and get things started. This is episode 42 of the Captain's Log. This week there's 3 of us. My name's
There
Kyle.
is.
That's Melissa. And over there, that's Jess. Hello. How is everyone doing?
Hello.
Good. I got my wine, so
That's a good night.
Good stuff. And Melissa, you're drinking something as well.
Oh, you make it sound so serious. I just have some Coke Zero to try and keep me awake, and I put a little vanilla whiskey in there for the flavor.
There you go. Well, I have a really boring Corona Light, so you both are doing better than me. So that's all I have.
I have an ample wine. It
Ample.
might be a cider.
Ooh, cider.
There you go.
That's real good.
These are big dreams.
Big dreams, dream big. I've this week. I don't know about you, Melissa. You mentioned you were also really tired. I am too. I've not been sleeping well the past couple nights, and I think as Jess yawns.
Sorry about that.
I don't know. I guess it's because I've had too much caffeine this week or something, and it's just like I'm staying awake till like 4 in the morning, and I have to be up at like 9 something.
Why?
I'm not doing it on purpose.
When are you drinking your last thing of caffeine?
It depends sometimes for something like this. I mean, it's a Friday night right now, so I don't really care about that, but usually not very long into the evening, 5 at the latest, 6. I don't know.
There's your problem.
No, that's what I do too.
You can't have caffeine at 6.
I jumped
Cody
before and I go to
Tricked
sleep.
me last week.
He
Or maybe
tricked
it was
you.
this Monday. Yeah, so Cody's my boyfriend, in case anybody doesn't know. We have Dutch Bros up here in Washington, as you know, well as Starbucks and other things. But I prefer Dutch Bros because they make their own brand of energy drink, and then they add flavoring to it, and so it makes it taste not gross. And I love it. And so there was a day, I think last week, where I was just so tired when I woke up. And Cody, maybe it was Monday, he's like, well, you know, you could go to Dutch Bros. And I was like, well, I don't have time because I laid in bed too long before work. And he said, well, I'll bring you Dutch Bros when I get off work, because he gets off about 3 hours before me. And I was like, okay, down. And so I go to work, and we have security cameras, and he hadn't texted me. They'd have been off work yet, but the security camera goes off, and I check it, and it's Cody walking in the front door. So I just casually text him. I'm like, hey, the mug that's sitting on the ottoman, if you take it, you'll save 25 cents at Dutch Bros, because it's one of their reusable mugs. And he's like, you still really want Dutch Bros? Because I'm really tired, because he had a long day at work and he went in early. And I was like, I mean, I always really want Dutch Bros, but you said you would. So if you're willing to still bring me Dutch Bros, then yes. And he's like, okay, fine. Just let me shower and stuff first, because he works in a factory, so he gets really gross. And I was like, okay, that's fine as long as you bring me Dutch Bros. I don't care what the timeline is. And he's like, are you sure you want an energy drink this late in the afternoon? And it's like 4 o'clock at this point. And I was like, yeah, 4 o'clock is fine. That's not too late. And I don't have to go to bed as early as he does. So I can just like dink around on my phone or whatever. And he's like, what's in. They're called, so Dutch Bros energy drink is called a Rebel. So if you get it's a flavored Rebel. And he's like, what's in a Rebel? And I was like, literally that's it. That's like what they call the energy drink. It's just that and flavoring. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, but I like mine with a little bit of lemonade. And he's like, are you sure that you want caffeine? And I was like, yeah, but if you want to get me a lemonade or a tea, I'd accept anything yummy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, okay. And so he gets there and he brings me a large, which is 32 ounces. It's usually 2 of their energy drinks. And I was like, I thought you were worried about me having caffeine. He's like, well, it's mostly lemonade. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Because I was like, why would you not just get me a small?
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. So I like drink it. I like get the after caffeine jitters. I go hang out with my friend at like a happy hour. And then I get home and Cody's in bed. And I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, babe, wake up. Babe, why didn't you get me a small? And he goes, it was all lemonade, like half asleep. And I was like, you what?
You tricked me.
Bad caffeine. So he just got me a large lemonade and I fell for it.
That's great.
Because he said it was mostly lemonade. And so I was like, that's why it tastes so lemonade-y. And I thought I could taste the energy drink. And yeah, I was
Placebo
like,
effect.
how dare you betray me?
Tactic.
Well, and part of the reason I was upset that he betrayed me is Lent started on Wednesday. And I gave up energy drinks for Lent. And so it was like it was going to be one of the last energy drinks. So I was like, how dare you rob me of that?
So I remember when I first started, or not when I first started necessarily, but when energy drinks first started getting big, and it was like, ooh, this new thing, Red Bull, what's that? Ooh, Monster, what is this thing? My mom got me one from 7-Eleven because I asked for one while they went out and got something. I was still in high school, and I drank it. I think it was a Monster. I don't remember. But then she comes into the computer room where I am about like half an hour after having drank this energy drink. And we had like a laser mouse for our computer, so it was super accurate of like where it was on the screen. And she's watching me do something, and she goes, "Why is the mouse moving that like that?" And I don't even notice it, but then I start to like focus on it, and yeah, it's shaking, and it's because my whole arm is shaking. Just I have too much caffeine in me. I'm just like, ugh.
I used to be really sensitive to caffeine, and I wouldn't drink it much. And then I started a 9-to-5 office job where I sit at a desk every day, and I have to do very detail-oriented work. So I have to keep my brain very, very sharp.
Yeah.
And I can't like glass over at all, or else I'm going to do something wrong. And then I started drinking coffee. And I don't see how I can ever stop now.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Yeah. And I don't know, my body takes it pretty well now. Like, I don't have trouble going to sleep. I'm always scared that I will, but I never actually do. Like,
That used to be me.
I work long hours. Like, I have long days, so I will get another coffee at like 4 or 5 to get me through the last bit of my evening, and then I will go to bed again at 10, like nothing.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot more soda, and that like it was all caffeinated, and that was the thing. It's like I could have a soda at like 2:30 in the morning and be asleep at like 2:45.
Boom.
Yeah.
I give up energy drinks for Lent every year. Not that I do. I'm not Catholic, so I've only done Lent for the last couple of years. Upon going to a Catholic school and learning what Lent is, but there was said Dutch Bros. There were 2 of them on the same road 5 minutes from my college, and they were open until 11. And I worked 6 to midnight, and I was very active, and so I drank a lot of energy drinks. And so I give them up every year for Lent just so that I don't because I notice I'm having like 1 or 2 a week, and I work a 9 to 6 desk job. It's hard, but it's not like I don't need it. And I'm like, oh, this is dangerous. Because I will, like, if I don't eat food with it, I get all shaky and I feel like I'm going to pass out. But my problem is that coffee makes me sick. Like, I will throw up if I have even like a small amount of coffee. One, because like coffee makes me sick, and 2, I'm lactose intolerant. I don't like coffee that tastes like coffee, so I want it to taste like dairy and sugar, and then my body hates that too. And so it's really hard when I decide to give up energy drinks, because I'm like, okay, I have soda now. You're going from energy drinks to soda. It's a big leap because I can't do coffee, which is like the in between, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of energy drinks because I drink coffee because I know exactly what it is. Not that I'm like, chemicals, bright colors, what's in that stuff? It's just like, coffee's a thing for me. Mom drank coffee my whole life. I know exactly what coffee does. I do like the Monster Rehabs though, that are mostly tea. That's what I go for when I need the very rare break from coffee.
There you go. Good stuff. So I saw Captain Marvel last night. I know you guys are about to go see it shortly here, and I think we're trying to do an episode of the Reactor Core on it so we can do a spoiler cast.
It's back.
So you guys can hear our full thoughts on that, hopefully by Tuesday, which I guess this comes out on Monday, so hopefully the day after this.
Look out for it.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked to go see that.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. My friend and I are going all out with the 90s theme. Like, we're both going to dress as 90s as possible. I have this necklace. I was wearing this when we were doing the X-Files podcast. It's like one of those stretchy chokers. Yeah. It's one of those big stretchy chokers that has an alien charm on it. I have other stuff, but that's the main
That's
piece.
peak 90s.
It is. And I even tried to think, because we make a whole day out of going to the movies. I'm like, what's the most 90s restaurant? Like, well, clearly it's Taco Bell, but we want to go someplace nicer than Taco Bell. And
somewhere you can actually eat it.
Yeah, like I love a Taco Bell.
Anybody
but we're
who
like
loves Taco Bell.
then you have to go to like Ruby Tuesdays or Fridays or Chili's.
I've literally never seen a Ruby Tuesdays. What is Fridays?
They're all the exact same thing.
Fridays.
Like Applebee's,
TGI Fridays?
Chili's.
The only place
I've
seen a TGI Fridays is in the Dallas airport. But I love their potato skins. I get them from the frozen aisle.
Those are good. I figured out, I think the most 90s restaurant outside of Taco Bell and like a Planet Hollywood or something real crazy and gimmicky like that.
You're right.
Which we don't have around here. They hardly exist anywhere anymore, so don't bother with it. I don't know. I think an
Hard
Outback
Rock.
Steakhouse feels very 90s to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little gimmicky. It's got that, I mean, the onion.
The bloomin' onion.
Guys, I'm too tired. I forgot the onion.
You're just like pausing, and I was like, is she frozen?
No,
She's just
I don't
thinking.
remember the onion's name. It's Bloomin'.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
I'm gonna go into work on Monday like, I got so tired I forgot what a bloomin' onion was called, and a bloomin' onion is sacred to me, so we have to change something.
I feel like now that you're like listing all these restaurants, I feel like in the Pacific Northwest, and I don't know if it's because we're younger than everybody else state-wise, but I feel like we don't have a lot of restaurants that everybody else has. Like, literally the first time I saw a TGI Fridays, I was in my 20s, and I'd been eating their potato skins growing up from the frozen aisle, and I was like, it's just like a food brand, right? And then I was like, holy shit, this is a restaurant.
It's a restaurant based off the potatoes?
Mind blown. So obviously I got the potato skins during our layover, and it was amazing. I've never seen a Chili's in my life except for in the office. I've seen we have Applebee's. I think maybe I saw one Ruby Tuesday once, but it also may have been Tuesday morning, which I think is a different thing.
Never
I
heard
think
of
that
those.
sells stuff, and I get those
Yeah.
confused with Ruby Tuesday.
I didn't know you had Tuesday morning out there because we have a couple of them and I've never been in one. It's sort of like a little antique mall kind of place. I didn't know there was a chain. I thought St. Louis just had 2 or 3 of them.
I've seen like 2 or 3 in all of Washington State, and that's it.
Weird.
I'm trying to think of more chain restaurants that we have or don't have, but I don't know. Do you guys have Blackbird Diner?
No.
They do. See, that doesn't make sense to me. They do huge portions. Their taco bowl is like bigger than my head, and so I feel like that's a very Midwest thing to have like huge portions. So that doesn't make sense.
It happens. I think we just have our huge portions elsewhere. Do you have a 54th Street Bar and Grill? Because that one's my favorite.
I don't know what it is.
It's like it is your standard bar and grill, but just very extra. Like it's got a big menu with a lot of different things on it. And it's one of those restaurants that's covered in stuff, but it's like 2 Applebee's put together. It's a very weird, dense restaurant, but I like it very much.
So Western Washington is super hipster, and we don't have a whole lot of chain bars, I have noticed. We have some Cheers, and I went to one once. It was so sad. It was so sad. There was like nobody there. I don't think the tables were totally flat. The drinks were super small.
Wait, like totally flat?
Cody ordered a
as
drink.
in like they were lopsided and would wobble,
Yeah.
or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cody ordered a drink while I was in the bathroom, and then I tried a sip, and the waitress was like over at my table to card me, and I was like, "Whoa!" Which like I'm used to getting carded, but like not that aggressively. And I was like, "Damn,
Like,
why
how dare you share a
should have
drink?"
carded me when I came in the door? You're a Cheers." But so that was like really sad. But like all the places that I'm thinking about, like bars that I go to, they're all individual little things. There's one that might be a chain. It's called the Office Bar and Grill, and there is one in my hometown as well that I never went to. So I don't know if they're the same, but we have a bar in Tacoma. There's no bars in Federal Way, by the way. They're all sports bars, so you can just forget about that. We have one called the Devil's Reef, which is a like tiki themed rum bar, and it's super good. Most of their drinks use 151 proof, though.
What are you doing shaking your head, Kyle?
Just to be like, we don't have those. Nope.
I thought you were
Oh,
like...
yeah, no. And that one's definitely an indie little thing because they used to own, and I will die mad about this. The people who own the Devil's Reef, which is really, really great, and I love it. They used to own a place called Tacoma Cabana, which had tikis all over the place. You could get a drink on fire, which I did. It came in what looked like a dog
Flamin'
bowl
Dr.
because it was a
Pepper.
drink for 2 people. So it came in a big bowl and 2 big straws, and they would put cinnamon on top of things and then
Yes.
light it on fire further. They'd like spark it. And you could get a drink in a pineapple. You could buy tiki cups. Cody has one because he collects tikis. And so we went there for one of his birthdays. They had little lanterns. They kept it really warm. They played vaguely tropical music, but nothing too like cheesy.
Vaguely tropical music.
No, like Over the Rainbow or something, no like Christmas in Hawaii songs or whatever. They closed it. And I didn't know. I didn't find out until afterwards. And the owners opened a fern bar. Does anybody know what a fern bar is?
Is it just filled with ferns?
It is a 70s themed bar filled with ferns and macrame and seat covers that are fake white fur. And
Melissa sounds like she would
ferns
love
are
this
like-
place.
I have to go to this place. I have to go to all of them.
So to be honest, like this one doesn't suck. It's just like it replaced a tropical bar in rainy Washington. So it's like, what did you do? It looked
weird.
like my grandparents' house, and then we walked in and it smelled like my grandparents' house. And I was like, how did you do this? How did you do this? Down to like the wooden chairs with the ornate like carvings on the back on the top of it that everybody's grandparents had. Yeah. But like all of their signature drinks have cream in them, and I'm lactose intolerant, and I can power through it. I have dairy pills, but I'm like, if I'm getting drunk, I don't have to worry about taking a lactose pill. But they have one called Blue Milk. which is fun.
Oh no.
So like it's not a
Star
bad
Wars.
bar, but I'm just really mad that it's not the tiki bar.
I had, when I was like 12 years old, I got this interior design book because that was something I was interested in at the time. I still am. I'm still quietly, secretly a nerd for that. And it was called Pad, The Guide to Ultra Living. And it's all these weird, like super detailed, super themed, super concept-y, like vintage themed houses. And there's so much like throwback, like 1960s, 1970s stuff. And there was like an entire tiki bar inside a guy's house.
Oh my god, that's the dream right there, though.
Oh, I loved it. And this book went on. It had like, here's all these profiles and these beautiful homes. And here's how you can implement these design strategies in your own house. And these are things you can build. And then at the end, there was a chapter on like, okay, you've designed a great place. This is how you throw a great housewarming party. And it had a ton of cocktail recipes, a ton of big, fancy, light them on fire, like covered in fruit and sugar on the rim, tropical drink recipes that I would read all the time as a 12-year-old. And I've not made any of them yet as an adult, but that aesthetic I adore.
Do you know what I love about this story?
What?
Is that the last time I was on the Captain's Log, you talked about this book and how
I
you knew
did?
what kind of housewarming party you wanted to throw?
I did?
And so this just proves it.
Shout out to 2 weeks ago.
You should definitely have like a tiki party. I get to go to Hawaii for the first time this summer, and I am stoked out of my mind to sit around and drink fruity drinks just all damn day on the beach. We're also going to do some really cool stuff because I've never been there, so I want to do literally everything there is to do. But Cody's backup plan in life is to be a beach bum. We're gonna do that
Good,
for
solid.
at least so stoked.
Sounds like
Although, like,
fun.
I don't like coconut or pineapple, so that's going to be real fun.
Yeah, those are the two major tropical things.
Yeah, pineapple flavor is okay. I can do it sometimes in small amounts. Coconut, though, I just really hate. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm not a big fan of coconut stuff either.
I'm also just kind of picky. So I'm really lucky. We're going to go to Costco to get supplies. And so I'll probably just snack on a lot of food. The reason we're going to Costco to get supplies is that we're going with Cody's family.
Mhm.
And when you hear we're going to Hawaii with my boyfriend's family, you think like his parents and his brothers and his sister-in-law, right? No, it is Cody's grandparents, their 3 children, all of their kids and partners. There's going to be like 26 people going.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's insane.
Crazy
And like the
stuff.
thing is not all of them, only a small handful are going to be over 21 and actually like our age, not Cody's aunts. Not
Yeah.
that they're not fun. They are, but like, you know, and the rest of them are going to be like kids still in school, not in
Mm.
college school, in like high school or younger.
Ah,
They're fun. It's just going to be, it's going to be a lot of people.
that
And
is a lot of people.
yeah. Luckily, we don't have like an itinerary, so it's not like, okay, this day we're doing this with 26 people, and this way we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's
they've
always a
all been a
nightmare
couple of
to
times, so we should
Plan
do it
stuff
one
for
day.
that many.
This sounds
People.
this sounds like the episode of Full House where everybody in the Full House went to Hawaii.
That might be kind of what it's like. Well, and Cody's like, I don't know if we should rent a car or not because I will not be 25 by the time that we go, but he will be. But apparently, I've learned there are some rental car companies that will rent to you if you're under 25 just for a fee.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
But so we've thought about it, but we're not sure. But I was like, honestly, I think we should because I don't know how we're gonna get back. I don't know how we're gonna get from the airport to where we're staying. Cody's parents are like, we're gonna rent a minivan, but they drive an excursion on the daily for all of their kids because they have 4 kids, all but one of whom has a partner.
Mm.
So, and we're all going. So I don't know. Like Drew's
Nice.
girlfriend is going. I'm going. Jesse's wife is going. So it's gonna be a lot of people. I'm super stoked.
I've never been on a vacation with more than 4 people before. Just me, mom, and dad, and my brother.
My
I once
family
went
used
to
to go to
Disneyland,
places all the time.
Yeah, you used to live like that Home Alone life.
Kind of.
Not being home alone, but going on like a big international
Getting
family
chased
vacation.
by two strangers and
Not what actually happens in Home Alone, but what was supposed to happen in Home Alone.
Yeah, I have a big family on my mom's side. She has a bunch of siblings, and so we would all go to, like, there was a good like stint of like 4 or 5 years that every year for Christmas, we would go to some different location and stuff like that. One year was Hawaii, one year was Mexico, one year was Australia. So
The other side of the world, Kyle.
yeah, it was
One
good.
time
doesn't
I
even
went
have
to
a passport.
Denver, and that's the farthest away I've been.
Cody, he's so funny. Our families are very different. We both have the same amount of siblings. We both have 3, but I'm the oldest, and Cody is smack in the middle of 4 because the 2 youngest are twins.
Okay.
And like his family has gone to Hawaii so many times that they have a favorite island, and they think some
Oh.
islands are only mediocre. And I'm just like,
There's
how
no
do you-
such thing as a mediocre island.
well, I don't know if they think that,
Unless
but like I
it's
overheard
literally
Cody's mom being
called
like,
Mediocre
I
Island.
I like the sunsets on this island better than I like the sunsets on this island. And I'm just like, I can't comprehend that. But that's just how many times they've been. They have preferences, which is not
Yeah.
bad. Whereas my family, our thing is we've been to Disneyland 3 times. Which,
you go.
twice when I was in middle school and once when I was in college. So there was a big old gap. And I was telling Cody, I was like, yeah, it's like not a bad thing, but it's just really weird to me when your family talks about Hawaii the way they do, because I don't get it. And he's like, well, you've been to Disneyland a bunch of times. And I'm like, yeah, and I would take you with me if I could. Like, we're going to go to Disneyland together sometime. And I love every single thing about it. But it was so funny that he was like, well, you've been to Disneyland. I'm like, I love Disneyland. Hawaii is more expensive, and Hawaii is probably better, honestly.
Hawaii's fun.
Disneyland is really great, but like once you're older, like there's just, for me, I love Disney characters, but like there's no appeal in any of that stuff. Like I just want to ride all the rides and drink all the fun drinks,
And the funnel cakes.
The funnel
The
cakes, the
churros.
churros, the cupcakes, the popcorn. I'm a big Disney parks nerd. That's one of my major nerddoms right now. I spend a lot of time on Disney parks YouTube videos.
I saw you tweet something, because there's some podcast you listen to that I know does like theme park stuff, and I think it's specifically
Podcast The Ride is what it's called,
there
and
you
it's
go.
my favorite right now.
You tweeted something. You were like, I want them to do a special episode on this thing, that thing, whatever this thing is.
This week I watched Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park,
Oh no.
which is a 1978 TV special produced by not Hanna-Barbera, but only one of the guys, like only Hanna or Barbera produced this. And it's
Produced
this,
by
like,
Hannah.
it's this like hour and a half long TV special. And it's filmed entirely in Magic Mountain, which is a Six Flags theme park in like Southern California. That's huge. It's like it's probably the biggest Six Flags, and it's one of the biggest just American theme parks. It's filmed entirely in there, and the story is that Kiss is going to play like a 3-day series of concerts at this theme park. Kiss also has superpowers, which they control through talismans. And there's a mad scientist who is a laboratory
Seems
deep
legit.
underneath the park. And he's like a mad animatronics maker. Like he makes super realistic animatronics. So he makes animatronics that look like Kiss, and Kiss have to fight the robot versions of themselves. It's bananas. It's so fun. And so I tweeted, like, you guys should do a special bonus episode only on Kiss Meets the Phantom, on like
That's funny.
only the park parts of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Nothing about actually Kiss.
That's funny.
I feel like there's so many different weird versions of different Kiss stories. Like, didn't they have a comic at one point, or a
Oh,
They've had
like,
comics,
sure.
and they've met Scooby-Doo, and they've
What
met
is going
Archie,
on with Kiss?
and they've done everything.
I don't know. This is like the most exposure to Kiss I have ever had.
Which, while we're on the subject of Disney, can we talk about all the weird Disney rumors? Like, I've heard that there's a basketball court in the Matterhorn.
Okay. Okie dokie.
I have no idea if that's true or not. I know
Oh.
they have like tunnels. That makes
Belinda,
sense.
we need you.
Belinda does need to come on here and we can just have an entire Disney conversation. Okay. Disney World has the tunnels. These are called the utilidors or utility corridors. And Disney World Disney World, when you walk out, you're actually on the second floor because they built all of that from scratch. It was just like huge patches of like fields and swampland down there. And the trouble with Disneyland is that it's got all those different sections, right? Like Fantasyland, Adventureland, Tomorrowland.
Mhm.
And to get around, cast members, which is what they call their employees, everybody's called a cast member, even if you're not like in a performing sort of role. Like somebody who would be dressed in like the Adventureland, like kind of Wild West frontier sort of outfit would need to like walk through Tomorrowland to get somewhere. And Walt Disney's like, this really
Nope.
ruins this kind of ruins the atmosphere and the immersiveness I was trying to set up. So yeah, so when we build Disney World, we're filling it with so many tunnels underneath the ground. And so you just get everywhere through tunnels. Like that's where all the trash gets carted around. Everything they don't want you to see goes in the tunnels. And that's also where there's like break rooms and, you know, the hair and makeup and the wardrobe for all the characters in costume and all of that. So yes, the secret they're not secret tunnels. Everybody knows they're there. You just
You
can't,
just can't go in them.
as a civilian, really get in
I
them.
used to work somewhere with tunnels.
Where was this place?
It was at the Science Center that is in Seattle, in Washington, which I was actually, and I'm really, really hoping nobody ever hears this, and I don't think there's anything that can be done. I'm not going to tell who let me in, but I went in those tunnels yesterday. I have not worked there since August. One of my previous boss.
There she is. Arrest her. She's the one.
My previous boss just left yesterday. She's gonna go, I think, study French in France for like 6 months. I almost said years. I almost said weeks. She's gonna go study, and so she left, and she had a happy hour, and I went and apparently surprised her. My friend who still works there, who shall go unnamed because they let us in, said, hey, just so that everybody who used to work with her knows, because I think I mentioned like I got laid off in August and it was brutal, knows like she's leaving and having a happy hour. And I love her. Like she's not the person who did it. She like fought to keep us, but they ended up like axing the whole department. It was this whole big thing. But they didn't say that. They said it was budget cuts. That's what they told me.
Suck.
Yeah, it was really, really hard because all of my friends were there and my whole life revolved around doing that because that's what I loved. That's what I wanted my career to be. And so going to the happy hour yesterday was actually really amazing because I never had my own happy hour. I kept being like, oh, I should have one, but like Seattle's so far away and I'm trying to find a job, so I don't have any money. And then it was too late and I was like, people probably don't even miss me. And I went yesterday and my old boss looked like she was gonna cry. She hugged me so hard and like did not let go. She was also 5 or 6 marks in. And there were all of my old friends and they were like, oh my God, how are you? Like, we're so sorry we never got to say goodbye. We're so sorry we were busy. And I just felt so validated. I was like, oh my God, these people still know my name. They still care about me. And of course, if any of them ever hear this, they're gonna be like, of course we care about you. And I know, but also like when you get laid off and you lose a job and you get in a dark place, you don't think that. So it's really validating. But my old boss, she was like, well, there's this cardboard box. There's a box that I want from an office that I worked in. And my coworker who works there was like, we can go get the box. Or not my old coworker. And my boss was like, it's an empty box. I just need it for shipping things. And I was like, okay, well, let's go get the box. And we were parked in that.
Things.
We were parked in that parking lot. My boss's sister is there, like, kind of helping her. And so we get the box, we play around in the dinosaur area a little bit, take a picture.
Yeah.
Like, there's like old 80s animatronic dinosaurs there.
Yeah.
And
the best kind.
Yeah, and then we're leaving through what's called the loading dock, and my old boss sees the door to where like all the like maintenance type people work, which is in the beginning of the tunnels. You have to go down some very steep stairs that are almost like a ladder, and she just goes, and we're all like, no, like come back. And she like gets towards the stairs, and we're like grabbing, we're like, no. And Cody's like, she's probably the most dangerous thing in here or whatever, like he sees a tool or something, and I was like, go look at those stairs because you've never seen it because you don't work here. And he looks and he's like, whoa. So yeah, that's the story of how I went with my old drunk boss.
Oh.
She's not old. She's my old boss, and she was drunk. I feel like I'm obligated to say, in case anybody ever hears this, I don't share views with the Science Center, and I don't work there anymore, and I didn't say who let me in, and I'm never gonna say. And also, we were escorted by somebody. We had. I remember the handbook. We were allowed to have guests after hours as long as we escorted them everywhere. So, like, nobody did anything wrong. We just had to go pick up somebody's personal belongings from an office. And my boss definitely didn't try and jump in the water that's there.
Great.
My position was called an operations lead, and I responded to things like medical emergencies and lost children and stuff. And when my boss went towards the water, I have never had my heels off so fast or been under a stanchion so fast. Like, it all just kicked back, and I was like, "Foomf!" I like left my heels. I'm like, no. The person that I used to work with is over there. They're grabbing her. They're like, no. I don't think she was actually gonna do it, but it was one of those things where you're like, oh, we don't actually know how many margaritas in she is. We couldn't remember how many.
That's funny. So
I texted this morning.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say I knew she was hungover, so I didn't even say, "Oh, how are you doing?" I was like, cut your Gatorade with water. It makes it less sugary. By the way, for those of us who are old, cut your Gatorade with water.
Mm-hmm.
Really helps.
I have two interesting stories to share. A couple weeks ago, I shared a story on here. I think both of you were on that episode where I mentioned that I lost an Amazon gift card that my parents
a lot of money too
bought me. They found it. Finally. And I was just like, yeah, what the hell? This is amazing. I don't know how they found it or what they did, but yeah, my mom was texting me about something else. I think she had a doctor's appointment recently, and then was just like, "Oh, by the way, we found that gift card." Just like nonchalantly, like, "Oh, we found it like a week ago. You know, maybe we'll tell you." And I was just like, "You found it? Oh my god, this is amazing!" And yeah, so she was like, "So what do we need to do to get this to you?" I was like, "All I need is the code on the back of the thing." And my mom doesn't really understand technology.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time where she refused to give me. We all share like a family Netflix account, and a couple years ago when I bought my PlayStation 4, I was setting up like Netflix and all of that stuff, and for a while there, she refused to give me the Netflix password because she thought somehow porn was gonna end up on her computer if she gave me the password.
What?
So I don't know. I was just like, "Mom, that's not how it works."
Porn doesn't just get on your computer. You have to go looking for it.
You have to go find that.
She doesn't understand that. But she, with this gift card, I was like, all I need is the code so I can put that into Amazon on my end. You don't need to mail it to me. All I need is a picture of the back of the card. Yeah. And she was like, okay, I mean, I guess I can do that, but are they gonna charge me again? Because I was like, no. Why would they charge? You already bought it. Like,
you were texting a code to someone. Like, at what point does money or any overseeing factor?
Yeah, just didn't understand that if she bought a gift card already and then I activate it on my account, that it wouldn't charge her again. Which like, if that was the case, why would she get such an expensive gift card? Like, you know, like that doesn't make sense. But yeah, she eventually sent it to me, so I was like, everything in my wish list, select,
nice.
Send to cart. So I'm getting a little bit of like sound, those like egg crate foam sound.
Oh, nice.
Proofing things for this room. We'll see how they work. They're like the Amazon basic ones or whatever. Just gonna kind of experiment with those because I have no idea exactly how to soundproof stuff. But one of the big thing that I got is a Streamdeck, an Elgato Streamdeck. And I don't really stream video games yet. I want to. I'm not much of a PC gamer, and I don't have my PlayStation 4 here in this same room. But it's basically like a thing that has a bunch of buttons that I can program to automatically do things, whether it's switch scenes here on our podcast. You know, if Melissa's like, oh, we need to go watch this one YouTube video, I can be like, hit the internet button and it pulls up YouTube. And
Nice.
yeah, and then we can do that stuff, or have the social media stuff pop up. So yeah, that was neat. I should be getting that tomorrow. So I'm hopefully going to be setting that up so that next week we will have it set. And Melissa, if I have everything set up, maybe we'll have it good to go for tomorrow for the review show. Or not tomorrow, but
Sunday.
yes, Hyundai.
Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Please.
Yes, tomorrow is Saturday. So I'm super excited about that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was just one of the like serendipity random things. Like, oh, by the way, here's $200 that you thought you lost.
Oh, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then so I mentioned that I went to go see Captain Marvel last night, and I have a bus pass that I can use to get around on the public transport here. Since I work for VCU, I can ride for free. And I decided I didn't really want to risk it with the bus because I didn't know which bus I was gonna need to take. I didn't know how often they come, stuff like that. So I was just like, I'm just gonna get an Uber and not worry about it. So my roommate was like, oh, you should absolutely take an Uber because they're doing some kind of like reduced rate thing right now. So you can get something for like $6. I was like, oh, perfect. And so I took one there, saw the movie. Again, I mentioned it was fantastic, and our full thoughts will be on the episode of the Reactor Core that we should be recording sometime this weekend. We don't know exactly yet.
Yeah.
But I got one on for my ride home as well, and it was this woman. She was a little bit older. I don't know how old. I'm assuming she smoked or used to, like the stereotypical like older woman who lives in Florida and is really tan and smokes a lot, and she's not actually as old as you think she is, type of thing. That's the kind of vibe that I got from her. But she was very talkative. And I'm a very quiet person when I'm not on the podcast, but I'm also I'm way too nice not to like at least say something back, unless I actually do have my headphones in. Then I'm just like, what'd you say? What was that? Who? You know?
Sorry, what?
Yeah. So like the passive aggressive, like, hey, I have my headphones in. You know, don't bother me. But she was talking, and it's one of those things, like, I'm a guy, I don't really have to deal with like creeper people being like, so where you going, your outfit looks nice, blah blah blah, you know, all of that stuff, or you're just you know, that type of creepy conversation. But she had the like morbid conversation that was just like, I don't think this would be comfortable for anyone. Apparently, she saw a car accident earlier in the day, and it was a really bad one. No one died. It didn't sound like anyone was hurt, but like the whole point of her conversation was like, man, You can be here 1 second and then the next second you're gone. Like you don't know anything.
fun.
Like, look,
That's not
I
a
am
good
in
time
your
for anyone.
car. I am entrusting you to get me and my life safely back to my house. Don't
That's what the
fuck
Grim
this up.
Reaper says before he rapes you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
And it's just
he
like
rapes
this is not good. Like I'm just like, yeah, scary stuff. Life is strange. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and like it was just like that's not the kind of conversation that I want to be hearing while I'm in the back seat of your car here. But then she's also talking about like she's working till like 5 a.m. so she's gonna be doing this thing. And she's already stacking up like who's next. She's like, I already have the next person good to go. I was like, well, good for you. Like, you know, you're stacking up that money, getting that dough, you know. And she's like, hell yeah. And she drops me off, and as I'm getting out, she's like, yeah, oh, looks like I'm right around the corner. That's strange. Good. And then as I go in the like back gate to my house, my roommate is coming out. And so I don't know if he is going out with some friends or something. I was like, oh, is this your ride? And it sounded like he said no. It sounded like his driver was someone else. But as I like said bye and kept on walking, he got in the car. So
Okay, you always check
apparently
the car and the person.
yeah, which they did. So apparently he must have heard me or something, or not heard me, right? But yeah, it was weird that like I had her as my Uber driver, and then she goes to drop me off at my house where my roommate is getting in the same Uber. I've
Did he
never
get the
seen
same
that happen.
conversation?
Huh?
Did he get the same conversation though?
Oh, I have no idea. I've not seen him since. He's been working all day, so.
So he died. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
who knows?
You haven't seen him since. File the missing persons report.
Who knows?
I
Best interaction I've ever had with a stranger was like a couple months after I moved into my first apartment. It's like later at night. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I hear a knock on my door, and I open the door, and it's this woman who says she lives across the hall from me. And I'm like, yeah, I think I've seen you once or twice before. And she says, my boyfriend just dropped me off back at home. I think I dropped my cell phone in his car, but I don't know. All I know is I don't have it here in front of me. I need some help. Can I borrow your phone for a second and call him? Because I don't have a like house phone.
I always hate
Call
when
him.
people ask to use my phone.
This is like the one time it's happened. So she's like, can I use your phone and call him? And then also, could you like walk outside with me so I just have another pair of eyes to help me check just in case like I didn't drop it in his car. I like dropped it in the parking lot. So I'm like, okay. And she also has this like very thick accent. She was from Asia somewhere. I didn't get to know her very well.
Sure.
I don't know her past. I'm only like 90% sure what her name was. She told me her name was Kim, but one time I saw her picking up some mail, and that could not
There was no Kim who lived there.
it could not possibly be shortened to Kim, so who knows if that was true. So I am mostly getting what she's saying. She's also like talking pretty fast, and she's kind of worried. I'm like, oh, okay, like I'll help you, sure. Like, isn't that's not too much to ask. Everything she's saying really makes sense. But I'm also like, this is the first time I'm living on my own. And she's like asking me like, hey, can I go inside? And like, so he said, yeah, you can use my phone. She's like, okay. She like nudges her way into like my apartment, and we're just standing in my like front hallway while she's calling me her boyfriend on my phone. Because I think she's like, well, I'm not inviting this lady into my apartment. And also I don't want to stand in the hallway. So I'll stand in her
I'm gonna invite
apartment.
myself.
Like, is this like a ploy? Is this how a robbery goes? Like, I don't know. This is my first time really being an adult. As she's like waiting for her
weird.
boyfriend to pick up, and she's like, this looks nice here. How long have you been here?
She's
Like
casing the
asking me all
joint.
these questions. But then, like, so she calls her boyfriend, and he's gonna, come back around and, make sure her phone isn't in his car. But while that's happening, we're like, well, let's go out and like check the parking lot just in case. And she goes back into her apartment, and she comes out with a candle. She doesn't have a flashlight or anything. She has a candle, and it's one of those long white taper candles on like the little saucer with like the finger hold. She brings out an Ebenezer Scrooge candle to go like poke around the parking lot if she dropped her phone there.
What the
Like,
hell?
well, okay. This absolutely, like, I was just slightly uncertain before, but now I'm absolutely, like, certain. This cannot be a ploy. Like, you would not put an Ebenezer Scrooge candle. This has to be real. That's not a part of anybody's criminal plan. And one
That's
time,
ridiculous.
like, the next year, she knocked. I think it was in his car, yeah, because we didn't find it outside. And I think she asked me to do it one more time. Like, hey, I think I left my phone in my boyfriend's car. Can I use your phone and call him? And one time she knocks on my door and she says, hey, I will give you $5 if you drive me to the dollar store and to the grocery store so I can get like my last Christmas groceries and my cigarettes and my beer.
That's so weird.
Okay, yeah, Christmas time is the time of giving. I'll spend an hour driving you around for weird little errands for you to give me $5.
When we lived in an apartment, probably the weirdest interaction was also the nicest. I used to drive a 1998 Blazer. When it finally died, had 249,000 miles on it. I was definitely not the first owner. But I owned it because my first car was having some electrical problems. It was a Pontiac and I loved it. And I was moving back and forth between my parents' house and my dorm every year. And I lived maybe 15 minutes from where I grew up. Or no, my home was like 15 minutes from my college. And so it wasn't like a huge move, but it was nice to not have to take a bunch of trips. Yeah. And I also had a beanbag that I actually don't have now. It's at my grandma's because it would take up like the entire middle of this room. It's huge. You can use it as its own bed. It's called a love sack. Everybody should Google it. LOVESAC. They make huge beanbags. But I had one at one point, and so that fit in the back of it, which is nice. But it died one time, like in the parking lot, and I was like, "Well, shit."
The car or the
beanbag? The car. Sorry, my Blazer. And I hadn't figured out. I'm
sitting there like, what if the beanbag just exploded?
I think I was borrowing a car from my parents. It was a stick shift, and I hated it. I know how to drive stick shift, but I don't always like doing it. And it was really temperamental. It was a Saturn, but not like. But before they had different kinds of Saturns. It's just a Saturn. And so my Blazer is dead in the parking lot. It's not a big deal. And then they're like, we're restriping the parking lot. You have to move your car or we'll tow it. And I was like, my car doesn't start right now. And so Cody and I are like, well, we will push it across the street. There's a Whole Foods parking garage underneath the Whole Foods. We can park it there for the like day that they're restriping, whatever, and then you can move it back. We're like, okay, the Blazer's not light. I'm like steering. Cody is pushing, or maybe I was pushing and Cody was steering. I don't know. Either way, somebody's there. Somebody's pushing it. And these two really nice Mormon girls come out. Oh. There was an apartment that I think that a Mormon church must have just rented because it was, they never lived there for very long, but it was always like different pairs of girls or different pairs of guys. And they come out and they're in like their long skirts and their flats after church. I just dropped some Legos and broke them. Hold on. I can't sit still. It's a TIE fighter.
Like that scene in Spider-Man.
Okay, sorry. So they're in like their long skirts. They've just come from church and they're like, do you need help? And I was like, I look at Cody and I'm like, actually, yeah, we're just trying to get it across the street. It won't start. If you want to like change and come back, we'll still be in the parking lot probably. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just like open the back door and put their purses like in my back seat and just start pushing like in their skirts and their flats. And we get it all the way across the street. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are so nice. And of course, they're like, here's the little things. I'm like, where we go to church. And I was like, I
Here's the
humored him a
card.
little bit more than I usually do. And I was like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. But it was just so, because I was like, yeah, if you need to like go put on, I don't know, pants or real shoes. And they just like got to work. And I was like, wow, this is really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the engine exploded on that in the middle of the night when I was on my way home from my job at the comic shop that ended at midnight. So that was fun. Yep. All the lights, I heard a loud noise and all the lights went out and I just pulled over as fast as I could.
Yikes.
Loved that car though. It's a good car.
Aw. R.I.P.
I drive an Outback now though, so that's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
I like it a lot.
Does your car come with a bloomin' onion?
No, but it came with a scuba diving sticker.
Ooh, that's nice. That's exotic.
Yeah, it came from my grandpa. It was his car. He was the only owner. And then his mom moved into like one of those care facilities and didn't drive anymore. So he got her newer car, which is like a Toyota or something, and he loved it. So he gave it to his daughter, my aunt, and she was like, I like this, but I don't need it. So I'm going to drive it for a little bit, just so we don't hurt his feelings. And then I'm going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that sounds great to me. Just, hold on to it for however long you want. If you decide you want to keep it, like I like my Blazer. It explodes. Mm-hmm. I call my aunt the next morning. She lives in Linwood, which is above Seattle. Mm-hmm. And I live in Tacoma. So she's about an hour away, at least. And I call her and I'm like, hey, so you know how this is really weird to do. Hey. I'm like, hey, you know how you
cell phone
were
on top of your headphones.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're maybe gonna get rid of that. Grandpa's Outback. Can I have it? Because I think my car is dead. And it turns out it was. And so she was a saint, drove it down like same day. And so my grandpa scuba dives or used to scuba dive. So that's why it has that sticker. And then I put my, student parking sticker on it. And I just kind of decided that it needs stickers because it's an Outback in the Pacific Northwest. So I only put them on my window, but I still have my parking sticker. I still have the scuba sticker, even though it's all cracked. I have a membership sticker from the Science Center that I used to work at. I have a Jake the Alligator Man sticker, which is from Long Beach, Washington. It's so fun. Jake the Alligator Man.
You just have to. What the hell is Jake the Alligator Man?
Yeah, so he's one of those like cryptid hoax things where they're like, we found an alligator man. He's half alligator, half man, and he's only like this big. And it's definitely two taxidermy things put together, but everybody's like, it's Jake the Alligator Man. He existed. Yes. And so I have a Jake the Alligator Man sticker. Long Beach also has, I think, the world's largest frying pan.
How big?
I don't know. I'll look it up. At one point, why are you so excited about that?
I love touristy, schlocky stuff like that because the Midwest is full of it.
You're a sucker for it.
I am. St. Louis has a one very, very big ketchup bottle. It might be the biggest in the world. Who knows? And one very big Vest soda bottle. And I don't imagine Vest soda has traveled outside of the Midwest.
I've never even heard of it.
It's just a generic brand of soda that you find at everywhere around here, I guess. Like every grocery store has it. Like every gas station has it. And it's like cheap and it comes in a lot of flavors and a lot of like offbeat kind of fruity flavors. Like this is the strawberry soda, the pineapple soda. It's kind of like it does all the flavors, but it also does everything like a Fanta or something does.
Sure. And
it's super cheap and it is at every party. I think every party I've ever been to has some Vest soda there.
I want to try some. You should ship some to me. So Long Beach no longer has the world's largest frying pan. This little article from Roadside America says it's 14 feet long with the handle, 9 feet and 6 inches wide, and I quote, despite its name and impressive size, it is not the world's largest, having been surpassed in subsequent years by other towns with more ambitious plans and pans.
Oh.
But when they made it, they celebrated. Clams are a big thing.
Ambition, like, ooh, I want to beat that town. Let's make a bigger frying pan.
World's largest frying pan, yeah. But when they first made it, clams and, seafood is a big thing on the coast here. Mm-hmm. So they had girls on like ice skates with huge ass butter pats attached to them. Yes. Skate around it and they made clams in it or something like that. But yeah, Long Beach also has the world's largest spitting clam. It's a wooden structure. They have the world's largest chopsticks, and they do have the world's longest drivable beach. It's a mile long, and you can drive on it legally. It is, I think, a state highway. It's got a speed limit. I think it's 25 miles an hour. But that's why it's called Long Beach. It's really fun. It's really hokey. I love going there. There's not a whole lot more to do than see the beach and Jake the Alligator Man. But the place that has Jake the Alligator Man, it's Marsh's Free Museum. They have a bunch of other weird taxidermied stuff. And they also have like all the little shells and stuff. And I think they maybe have a mummy and all those like games.
Amazing.
There's like Test Your Love Meter and Taffy and all of that stuff, which
I love it. I need
That's
it.
fun.
Oh, okay. I'm going to blow your guys' minds for just a second here.
What?
Speaking of big things, I watched this video on somewhere educational. So I watched a video on YouTube that was famous statues size comparison. And it's these like digital like 3D mock-ups of like the David and the statue of Abraham Lincoln and like all these different things 3D rendered in a space together, and the camera pans around and you see how big each of them is in comparison to each other. It was pretty cool. And it gets to like massive statues that must be new because I've never heard of these. It gets to like Statue of Liberty, and I'm like, oh, is that the biggest one?
Statue of Liberty?
No, well, that one I know, but I'm like, that's probably the biggest one there is. I don't know if there's a bigger statue. And it keeps going and going. And the tallest statue in the world, and I had never heard of this because it just finished being built in like November. It's called the Statue of Unity. You two Google this thing right now. This is in India somewhere, and it is a giant man the size of 2 statues of liberties, 2 of that lady. He's 2 of her, and he's insane. He's insane. It looks like a giant kaiju who rose up from the sea.
That's huge.
He looks like a
you can
special
tell.
effect.
How does that one compare to Colossus of Rhodes?
Oh, way taller than Colossus.
Probably taller.
Oh man.
Get out of
It looks
there.
like there are mountains in the background.
Oh, yeah. It's bananas. And what is it like to just live by this guy? Just every day you leave your house and you see just like from the waist up, probably, even if you live miles away, this giant stone man, and he's incredibly detailed and lifelike.
Also,
Like-
is he somebody in particular? Because when you said Statue of Unity, I assumed it would be like 2 people.
No, he's like an Indian statesman.
He's one with himself. He's unified with himself.
Also, there's like people standing by his toes, and each toe is almost as tall as an entire person.
Yeah, it's bananas. Like, your life is different after the statue is built. You think about yourself in a different way. Like, you're existentially, irrevocably changed. Like, I think about that giant iron in FLCL and how everybody just lives by the iron now. They're like, well, who knows what the iron does? It's just casting in shadow over all of us. And this is like that. You live by giant man.
So I looked up how tall the Colossus of Rhodes is. 108 feet. Statue of Liberty is 300 and something.
Oh, wow.
Statue of Unity is 597. So it's almost 6 times as tall as the Colossus of Rhodes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which was like the
Try,
dopest
Kyle.
thing in history. I'm very upset it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Big statues like that are just freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're just like, whoa.
What a good thing for humans to spend their time on. Just big old statues.
I mentioned this to you two, but not when we were recording. It's a cool statue, but it's not a big statue. I went to a Catholic college, and there is a cemetery there where the dead monks go. And there is a big old crucifix in the back with a golden life-size Jesus. And we call him Bomb Jesus because he's made out of a bomb shell. And it's super cool, and I have pictures there, and I'm just like chilling with Bomb Jesus. But it's great because we would talk about it all the time just so that we could say Bomb Jesus. Like, oh yeah, have you seen Bomb Jesus lately? He's looking real good. Or like, oh yeah, I went up to Bomb Jesus on a walk the other day. It was nice and peaceful.
That's
You
funny.
know, oh yeah, I took my senior photos with Bomb Jesus. Like, Eric took my senior photos when I graduated,
Uh-huh.
and I specifically was like, I want to get some with Mom Jesus. Like, I also have one
Amazing.
with a few with Jesus who's out front of the school and is missing his pinky. They've
Oh.
tried to replace it. It just always falls off.
Ooh.
That's
Spooky.
weird. Speaking of like school statues and stuff like this, I only remember this because I was talking about it with another friend of mine like a couple weeks ago, and so it's just on my mind. Actually, before I mention that, speaking of Jesus, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like let's see if I can point to it on camera. I don't know if you can see it, but I have the like Burger King Pokeball. That's like right back there. I have an action figure of Jesus in that. It was just some little stupid action figure that I saw at a store, and I was like, it has real gliding action, and I love it.
My grandma for Christmas one year got us this pocket Jesus.
Oh, so little.
This tiny little plastic Jesus.
Anyways,
We have a lot of Jesuses around our house.
So I was going to say that this school statue thing that I was going to say, when I was in high school, my senior year, one of the things that like the senior class each year would get a gift to the school. I think like the year before us got us like a new like scoreboard for our football stadium thing. And so we wanted to get like a statue of our mascot, or I guess not we, but that's what it was decided that like our class gift would be. And I think we commissioned a local. I keep saying we, like we had some choice or option in this thing. But yeah, like we commissioned some local artist, and we were like, hey, can you build the statue of a hornet, because that was our high school mascot.
Okay.
So they did, and it was not, I mean, it was not life size, because life size there'd be what, like that big. But like it was like humanoid size.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bit shorter than like average high school kid, right? But this thing did not last 2 weeks before the school took it down. Not because it was destroyed, not because it was vandalized, but because it was a hornet standing on its hind two legs in like a fighting like Goku Dragon Ball Z stance. And yes, Melissa, you already know what's about to happen. Its stinger was just like pointing right up.
Oh, I love
And it looked like a giant dick, and it was just no, and like it's not even something that like all the students would snicker about. The teachers were also like, oh my god, what do we do? Like, we cannot have this thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I can do better than Bomb Jesus. And more on that note, when I was in high school, I went to school. We were the Cougars. It's where my siblings all go now.
Or one of our rival schools were the Cougars.
Ours were the Bears. Eric went there and he sucks. And so do the Bears. Anyways, we were the Cougars, and there was a cougar statue in the library, and it was like brass colored, and it's still there. It straight up has balls. In a high school library. It's just there, and they're dangling, and they're brass. And so like when my sister got to high school, like immediately I was like, hey, go around to the back of the cougar statue. And she's like, oh my god. And I was like, I know. And they haven't got, like, I think that was there when my dad went there. Like, it's
That's
still
so funny.
there somehow. And it just has a huge literal brass balls.
That's funny.
It's wild. That was
speechless.
Yeah,
Melissa is speechless.
No, I'm trying to find a picture of this hornet statue to see if anybody has ever documented it online.
I don't know if there
Dang
was.
it. I found a high school hornet statue, but it's in Ohio. It's not the same one.
Anyways, we should start wrapping things up here. It is getting late, at least for me. But we've all had long, exhausting weeks.
Already tired. I'm so old.
So thank you all for joining us in the live stream. New episodes of this podcast of the Captain's Log come out every Monday. If you enjoy the show, patreon.com/the Whatnauts is where you can support us and you can get episodes early. That is pretty nifty if you guys want to do that. And of course, live streams every Friday night. I think we've kind of settled at this time. Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then if you guys are not in Eastern time, you can figure it out from there. 'Cause I'm terrible at math.
7 p.m. Pacific. I don't know anything else, though.
Little bit of housekeeping. Melissa and I just recorded the first Patreon exclusive episode of the review show where we covered some episodes of the X-Files. So you guys should absolutely go check that out. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yes. That being said, we also want to give a big shout out to patrons that are at the $5 level. So thank you to Christine, to Sam, and to Eric as well. You guys are fantastic. You guys keep the lights on and the mics on and all of that stuff and help us pay for all of our hosting and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much. This has been episode 42 of the Captain's Log. Melissa, you are cracking up.
Is it the weird things I'm doing?
She's looking up weird pornographic statues of something, I'm sure.
Porn. I just Googled the phrase worst statue.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's a gold mine. I recommend all of you do it.
Your homework for this episode.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And maybe I'll post some pics of my rad 90s look for when I go see Captain Marvel tomorrow.
There you go. And Jess, where can they find you on the interwebs?
On Instagram, I am Accio Jess Beaver. It's Accio like in Harry Potter, and Beaver as in BEVER. There's no A there. And on Twitter, I am legend_of_Jess. I'm sorry that they're all so complicated, but when your first name is Jess, you don't have a whole lot of options. So yeah, it's mostly pictures of my cat.
There you go. And I was gonna wrap it up there, but I didn't mention all of my stuff. I'm at Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram, so you guys can find me and yell at me there if you guys would like. And thank you, Sam, for reminding me of this. But yes, we are $1 short of reaching our first Patreon goal. And if you guys like our show or the review show or what all the podcasts that we do, just one more dollar would help us out a ton, and that would help us reach our Patreon goal, which is just pocket change for you guys. But the $3 level gets all of the exclusive content. $5 level gets a shout out on the show and a yearly thank you pack, stuff like that. It's cool. But that being said,
a yearly thank you pack.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do a yearly thank you pack for people who've been at the $5 level for an entire year. And
can I quit and then do that? No, just kidding.
But yeah, with that, we will see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a good week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Ayo. Thank you for watching that episode of the Captain's Log. Go subscribe. The button is right down here in the middle of the channel here. Go watch our most recent upload and go watch whatever YouTube wants you to watch, which is this button right here. If you can click all the things, that would be fantastic. Like, share, subscribe, sell your soul, tell a friend, tell a foe. I don't know, do something. Do something with your life. Seriously.